Okay, Ron, here we are on the international course. It's October 8th, 2013. We're at what I call ground zero, but it's mile zero on the international course. This is to document how thick the salt is. And when you see the mud or the gypsum that's underneath, we've measured it, and the salt at this area at zero is 1/2 of an inch thick. Okay, Ron, we're now at mile 1 on the international course. We have 3/8 of an inch of salt crust with the muddy gypsum below. Okay, Ron, this is mile 2 on the international course, which actually is right across from Road's End. The salt crust here is 3/8 of an inch, and below it is the mud, or the gypsum as we call it, which is soft. Here we are on the international course at mile 3. It's a little damp here and it's really difficult to measure, but from the samples we took, we hit the mud at about 1/2 an inch. Okay, Ron, this is at the 4 mile. The salt is very thick here, but inconsistent. Some places it's an inch, some places it can be up to 3 inches before we get to the gypsum or the mud. Here we are at mile 5, and the salt is excellent. I would say it's probably at least 3 with maybe good dense gypsum underneath that. Okay, here we are at the 6 mile on the international course, and the salt is really nice down here. I drilled a hole, and sticking my finger in it, there's a good 3 inches to the gypsum, which is phenomenal. Okay, Ron, here we are at mile 7 on the international course. It's very wet. Here we meet the gypsum at about 2 inches. Okay, here we are on the international course at the 8 mile. It's a little damp here. I just chopped a hole. It's about 1.25 inches thick on the salt crust. Okay, we're at the 9 mile. Just chopped a little hole, and it's about 1 inch thick here. Okay, here we are at the 10, and the salt here, it's damp, but it's about 1/2 inch thick to the gypsum. Okay, here we are at mile 11. The salt here is really thin. Fact is, I doubt if we even get 1/4. It's basically just a crust on the surface. Here we are at the 11.5, and it's basically hardly any salt crust and basically mud and totally unusable.